What's up, everybody? Is Make It Make Sense. And Latasha, all I can tell you is that denial is not just a river in Egypt. Like the videos my intro plays, we got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Make it make sense, boo.
Big moves. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Sun in the sky.
Okay, guys, so Latasha did another interview, and I will say that some things were the same, but some things changed, and I can't tell or decipher if they changed because the album sales allegedly weren't all that great. I did not forget about you guys. I will be reaching out to Billboard. They already collected my check, but I just have to reach out to customer service to get you guys the definitive answer on how many pure album sales she had. I told you I would do it. It'll get done. But defending Jermaine Dupri, then we got Marlo coming after Kandi's Motherhood. That'll be at the end of this video, so stick around for that. But let's get into this interview. I want to shout out to Radio 1 DC for getting the interview, and the interviewer had some really good in-depth questions that we're going to kind of review, but for the full interview, you'll be able to go there. Latasha.
So no, I have no hand in anything.
Oh wow.
At
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
And so it just makes it sweeter that you can, move forward and say, all right, you know what? I'm gonna work on my music and I'm gonna do my own thing in my own lane, and really going back to your roots.
Yeah.
Which is gospel music.
Yeah. And I want to be clear when I say this.
Okay.
When I go back to my roots, it's not leaving my group. So I think people are getting the wrong message when it comes down to what I love. What I love is music. What I love, those are my sisters.
But that's what you said, though. I got to remind you guys of exactly what she said, because everything that was said on the show as it pertained to your new boss, the new VP over at the record label, the question was pretty clear. And I'll let you guys hear, and then you can tell me if you heard what I heard.
And I don't want to have the juggling. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I'm going to have to make a decision.
So they don't know.
I don't know. It's a
In that, are you fully in this? Like, how are you still fully in that? Are you fully in this? Like, how are we balancing these things so we know kind of what the level of expectation ought to be?
lot going on even with that. And I don't want to have the juggling. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I'm going to have to make a decision.
So they don't know you meet with us right now.
So you didn't tell your group. They don't know that you had a solo project, and you just said that you're going to have to make a decision, which y'all tell me, doesn't that sound like she's saying that she's going to choose either Xscape or her new gospel career? But now in this interview, when the record has allegedly kind of flopped, now all of a sudden it's, I never gave up Xscape. But let's continue. Tasha, some people were rooting for you. They were all rooting for you.
My sisters, we go back and forth, but I've always wanted to sing. Never ever wanted to leave the group. I think everybody's had their time to shine. I've supported all the girls and what they've done. I know Kandi did her project, supported her when she did her show she had. I think it was called Mama's something. I forgot the name of it.
The play.
The play, yes. Yeah. And anything she's ever done, I've been there to support. I've been in the house. Same thing with Tiny when she put her EP out, my sister as well. But I don't know, every time it gets to me, it's like that big sister thing. You go somewhere, where you going? Like, can I just branch out a little bit? Can I do just a little bit?
I think as you know, from the outside looking in, I think what it looks like is whenever you guys make an announcement and like, okay, we're going to get back together and we're going to do this and we're going to go on tour, and the fans are like, yes. And then, you see promos where it's just the three ladies and Tasha's not there. And then you see headlines or maybe quotes where it's like, well, Latasha's going to do her own project. And I don't think that it's fair to you just because you have not actually come out and said, this is what it is, this is what's happening. It's just kind of like a narrative that doesn't involve the source. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. That whenever there's a project that's about to drop, Tasha like, oh, I'm about to do my own thing though. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, no.
This was a very direct question. She tried to do it in a nice way, but it was a very direct question. Why is it that when the group pops off, because you just listed all these things, Kandi did, Tiny did, your sister did, but those things were done just whenever they wanted to do them. It feels as if when Xscape heats up, Tasha, you are the one who wants to then do a solo, as opposed to just saying, well, I have this beautiful voice, I can do a solo anytime. All of the women are working, doing multiple jobs. So why is it that you can only focus on one and you only do it once Xscape is popping? That's what they're saying. You're using this as a springboard to something else. Listen to her answer though, guys.
Now, but what happens is, keep in mind, I've never been able to do. Every time I've tried to, even before we came back to do the tour, it was always something. And I just feel jaded, at times because of that.
I was going to ask that.
I do. I feel away because when God gives you a gift, I don't think that people should be able to put that in a box. I don't care who you are. And that's for anything. It's not just singing. Anything that you want to do in life, just to have somebody say, well, you shouldn't be able to go somewhere because of this.
There was like almost a 20-year gap. Her and her sister still performed as Xscape 2 or whatever they performed as, but there was like a 20-year gap. Where was this solo gospel career then? You waited till you're back on television with the rest of the ladies and Xscape is now doing arenas. Now you want to do your solo. And you're saying yourself that you want to make a choice. So you got to kind of start being upfront if you want the fans to embrace you. And that's not me being shady. That's just me being honest. If anybody had questions, you guys know I help out a lot of other people. That's what I would say. If this is your bread and butter, then do your gospel album maybe off season if you have to do so much promotion. But this is not making sense and it is not endearing the audience to you at all.
It's sad, because I just feel like it's a gift and a gift is supposed to be shared. It's not supposed to be held on to. And this is my gift and I should be able to do that. Not saying that I'm not going to be able to be, I always fulfill all of my obligations. So whether I'm going to do a tour, I'm going to finish the tour.
You weren't going to rehearsals and allegedly you were only doing the tour dates where Rocky was getting something under the table.
Excuse me, but when it's time for me to do music, I should be able to do that too. And I think a lot of people kind of see now, like, wait, let her go, let her do some stuff, y'all.
Yeah. So if you could, without any response from your sisters, without people chiming in, without it going back and forth, if you could tell them what you need, what would that be? What you need from them?
I was front and center at the winery. Like I want to go do Broadway. Fine, I'm going to support you. I understood what Tiny was like. My kids didn't even know I could sing. And then she goes and does her EP. I was front and center at the winery. Like she did her whole show. And I was like, yes, I get it. My sister, the same thing. She did the family affair. Nobody even included me on it, but I was right there to applaud. And I think I just don't get that same, the love is never reciprocated on my end.
It's like there is no self-awareness. If these people are doing this, you can definitely do your gospel album. If you were attending these events and they told you the events were happening, you didn't even want to tell them. Like, I'm really trying. I'm trying. Okay, let's continue.
Many other things and facets and moving parts when it comes down to people with their gifts, man. It's just.
But we want you guys to be able to do separate projects
and come back together,
yes. And there be no like beef or anything like that. Because I'm gonna tell you, when y'all first came back, because there were issues with other ladies in the group, and then that was hashed out. We're like, okay, yes, now it's about to be back, and then it was that. But I'm happy.
But that's the maturity level, even on my end, when it's like that. It's like you got to come in and be the big sister.
Yeah.
But now big sister just want to spread her wings a little bit. But I want to reassure everybody, this is not a breakup. When you start to see us move different ways, now we do have times when we be like, you this and that, but we come right back. Keep in mind, we did this prior to. We did what was that last thing that we did?
Does that make it right? Just because you guys are very, very grown now. What do you mean this is what you do? No, the goal should be, let's not repeat what we did in the 90s, because now we are mothers, we're grandmothers, we're,
We have to come back for the TV One special. Then somebody tried to take our life story. So we weren't even talking then. This is just the things that we do. We go through as women. We come back together. We still give y'all the good music and performances. Although I know the only thing I will say about music, Kandi didn't want to do music again. She said, don't ask her.
She was reluctant. And
no,
even
why did you volunteer that? Why did you volunteer that?
Didn't want to.
At all.
New music. No new music. No, she just felt like she wanted to make sure that we sold the same amount of records. But for me, it's never been about record sales.
It's always been about
the music. And I said, it's never been predicated on album sales. When we first came out, we just said, we're going to hit the ground running. We want people to hear us. We want to be known. We wanted people to understand.
Now that is a change in tune. It's never been predicated on album sales. Now that the album has allegedly flopped, you're not predicating it on album sales. To me, that's kind of like foreshadowing. And she's also saying that she's still a member of the group. Technically, she will always be a member of the group because she owns the name along with her sister. But when the group is doing well, you choose to branch off and don't tell them. Like Latasha, it just comes off as shady. I'm trying, Latasha fans. Y'all know I'm one of the nice ones, but come on.
understand that we could sing. And then it started to become about numbers. And with us, when we didn't think about the numbers, we just skyrocketed. And when you start thinking about numbers, you're starting to put a little bit too much in front of the cart in front of the horse. Like, just do what you love to do. People are going to embrace it.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's not about the numbers. With her, it is. And that's why she said, I don't want to do music. Because what happens when we fail? I'm like, how can we fail?
Well, listen, SWV, Coco said, we're not doing no new music because y'all didn't buy the last
that's
two
true too.
albums,
Come on, y'all. Y'all got to support
y'all gotta
now.
support,
Yeah,
when your favorites come back and put
That's
out,
absolutely true.
what's true to them.
Yeah.
I do want to get your opinion on the whole life story. Somebody trying to take, y'all story, and that was quite shocking that it was even happening. And I know Kandi spoke on it, but what were your thoughts?
I wasn't happy with it because nobody can tell your story the way that you can. Is your story. So I agree with everything in the beginning. I know that everybody was kind of coming against Jermaine because they were like, how he gonna tell our story? He don't, he just was a producer. And I said, well, let's talk about it. Once again, we're not gonna go out in public and start doing all this craziness. We're gonna talk to Jermaine. So I called him myself and I said, listen, the girls are very unhappy. Tell me what's going on. And he was like, I did not sell any rights. All they did was come to me and ask me for the music. I can't tell y'all story. And I said, well, listen, can you sit down with us? Let's all sit down in a big room and we're gonna hash everything out. You tell them the same thing you're telling me. I believe you. They were like, you believe anything he says? I'm like, all I can do is allow somebody to speak their truth. And when you get them.
Okay, so that's not the way the music business works. If he owns the rights to these songs and somebody's asking them to license the song, he knows exactly what it's being licensed for. If it's an unauthorized biography, he knew that. He didn't just sign over some paperwork and just say, oh, okay, well, you can use the songs for anything. They had, in my opinion, a right to be upset that somebody was going to do an unauthorized biography on them, right? Anybody would if somebody takes your life story. But remember this, whenever the biographies have the music, they usually go pretty far. Excuse me. If you'll recall, Aaliyah's biography or unauthorized biography didn't have her songs and the show fell flat. People need the nostalgia to really get into the story, and Jermaine was about to give that up. Didn't he also, take your money allegedly? So why are you still defending him? Or is it just defending him against your bandmates because you are, you're the Beyonce? Which one is it? I'm curious to know, but Tasha, help me help you. Let's move on to Marlo. Marlo did an interview with Heather McDonald. Definitely check that interview out. What I wanted to pick out of that interview was her shading Kandi's motherhood. Come on now, Marlo. But let me let you hear. You guys can make your own decisions.
Michael is Michael's 15. He'll be 16 in July, and William's 14.
And so when you revealed on the show that you're like, I just had to have a little break, I felt like some of the girls were kind of critical of that, which I really thought was unfair because they're not your children. And this is a very generous thing to do. To because you're not a mom, you haven't been through it, and then you're dealing with middle age.
The break that she's talking about is when Marlo threw out her nephews. Y'all remember when Marlo threw out her nephew?
Middle school kids, and that is a hard age too. They're not babies, but they're also not 20. And so how did you feel about that when they were like judging you?
You know what? I felt the way I worded it is probably me saying I kicked them out.
Yeah.
So that's what I think touched everyone and got them sticky. But I'm like, you got.
Now, I want to say this before we get into it. What Marlo did for her nephews was a beautiful thing. I thought it was extremely admirable, and it's one of the few things that I actually like about Marlo. With that being said, when Marlo, admonished Drew's husband for not actively pursuing becoming his legal father and all that, I was with Marlo. She was like, I was a foster kid. I knew what it was. My heart went out. Conversely, I was really liking the fact that she did that for her nephews. But then when you said you threw them out, were you just putting 20 on 10 for the show? And if so, there's things that she did and said like, oh, well, he was at my sister's house and he wasn't brushing his teeth and stuff. Why are you putting that on national TV? You're only being completely upfront about your nephews, but not about like the stuff that is very specific to you. I didn't like that. And I didn't necessarily like what she said about Kandi.
You guys know I don't never say shit right.
Yeah.
You know what I meant to say. I still don't take it back. It's like you just said, it's not easy. From being a single auntie, having fun, just being a great provider, coming over in the summertime. So I feel as a mother, like when I talk to my girlfriends who have birth children, they're like, I need a break sometime.
Yes.
Sometimes I just need a break.
Right.
So I felt that was awful. I felt some of the girls knew exactly what I meant because they're moms. And I know for sure a lot of them are never hardly with their kids. They have full-time nannies. And sometimes they need a break. We all need breaks sometimes. Shit, we need breaks from our husbands, from our jobs. You need a break sometimes.
Right.
So it's just, I feel it's just the way I phrased it. If I would have phrased it and said, hey, you guys.
That is fair, but you can't be mad when people responded to what you said specifically.
This is really tough. Well, I never know when it comes to this group of girls. If I would have phrased it right, they probably still would have got after me.
Yeah, I do feel like I remember kind of Kandi saying something like, I've taken in, relatives before and I would never do that. And again, it's just
well,
like
Kandi does not. You never see her with her kids 24/7. She always pays. She has a whole slew of family that helps her. So it's coming from Kandi didn't mean that much to me, not unless I saw her with her children every day. I mean, she's too busy trying to get another bag. She doesn't have time to spend quality time with her kids.
Right.
So that really did.
She does not have time to spend quality time with her children. She throws out these daggers. And if there's one thing we know about Kandi, talk about my man and my child and my mom. Why would you just throw that out so flippantly?
Really didn't bother me by her saying that. I'm like, girl, you are a provider, okay? Please don't come telling me about the quality time because I'm always with Michael and William. Like, we are connected.
Yeah.
This season is heating up. I told you guys that I had a special announcement as it pertains to RHOA. I got the okay this morning, so I will be letting you guys know. Probably next time I'm live, I'll make the announcement, but it's super exciting for me. I am very excited about this. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not. We have a good time over here. And put in the comments, do you think that was below the belt of Marlo, or do you feel like, Kandi's not above those things being said about her? And what do you think about Latasha's latest interview? I don't think it moves it forward for her at all. But I will see you guys later. Have a great day.